I mean, it was just constantly teaching kids, like, sell candy. You can't do that because at school they sell candy and you can't, like, it's the mafia, basically. They own it. You're cutting into their revenue. So they'll suspend you and they'll send you to another school where I'm like, sell candy there. I mean, these kids were making $100 and something a day selling candy, and then getting on the bus, selling candy, and then selling on Amazon. They were making 10 grand a month. And the parents just couldn't believe it. They're like, this is illegal. There's something wrong. And the kids are just trying. They had nicer cars than their parents. They made more money than their parents.
This is Little by Little with Andy Schechtman.
Welcome back to another episode of A Little by Little with someone that I am so stoked and so psyched and so appreciative to have on the show, Johnny Bravo. And, Johnny, I know you, brother. I truly do. I mean, not only have you been in bed with my wife and I just about every night for the last 5 years, which, that sounds a little creepy, but it's actually pretty true. But our mutual friend, the Ninja, speaks so highly of you. And when I decided to break free from doing everyone else's show and do one of my own, you were at the very, very, very top of the list of people that I would love to have the chance to speak with for a few minutes. And maybe even more importantly than that, let people who don't know who you are know who you are, because honestly, you're my go-to, man. And I spend a lot of time researching. There are very few people I've ever met who get it quite the way you do. I just want to explain a little bit about why I call it Little by Little and tie it into your background before we get going. I have found, Johnny, that the term logarithmic decay is something that I find very apropos, if you will, for so many things that we see around us, where little by little, then all at once, things seem to change. And I've kind of overused that phrase, if you will, quite a bit over the last few years, but it sticks with me as something that I can use to explain or at least rationalize my own mind on so many things. And I look at you as a guy, who, and I have great respect for your past, and a guy that was in the military. And when we were younger, the slogan was be all you can be. It seems like now, and little by little, it's changed to be whomever you want to be. And you were a high school business teacher, and God, would it have been amazing to have you as a high school teacher. Those kids are certainly lucky, and I'm sure they talk about it all the time and show their friends and family that, look, this dude was actually my teacher. But little by little, the schools have gone sideways. I don't need to tell you that. And kids don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. And if you lived in Minnesota, where I used to live, heck, every public bathroom, every public boys' bathroom in the state of Minnesota has a tampon dispenser. And that's true, actually is true. And then, of course, I think probably that might have drove you to be a cop after you were a high school teacher. And little by little, Minnesota led the nation in defunding and vilifying the police. And so, like you, leaving California, I left the communist state of Minnesota and moved to Florida, only to have creepy walls decide to try and make it on the big stage just when I thought I could get rid of him. He won't disappear. But I say all that to you because your unique and admirable background, I think, to me anyway, honestly, makes so much more impactful the things that you say. And I think you're the best I've ever seen in the space. And so I am very stoked and very honored to have you today here with us, Johnny. And I hope all my listeners, my viewers, get a lot out of this, and I hope they all sign up to not only to your channel, but to the courses that you teach. And we'll talk a little bit about that. The first question I'm dying to know, though, brother, above all else, what product do you use in your hair?
Just hairspray.
It's good. You have really, really, really good hair, man.
I just use a little bit. It's like, I think it's just the Viagra comes out in my hair and it just sticks straight up. So really, I could probably get away with absolutely nothing. So, and it takes me, my wife's like, I'm like, babe, okay, we got to go. She's like, we're late. I'm always the one. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're going to take an hour. And I'm like, put on a timer, 2 minutes. So we figured out I usually can do my hair in under 2 minutes.
Right on. I respect. Since you're speaking of your wife, Kitty, and maybe more importantly and seriously, could you ever help a brother animate my wife like you did? Because I don't know. I just think that would be fantastic. I've been trying to figure it out. I haven't had much luck with it, but
that is my assistant. Well, so we have Kitty. She's my assistant. Skylar is an assistant. And then my wife is not Kitty. So we can't tell.
Well, we're going to have to throw that one out. Well, nonetheless, I'd like to know how to animate my wife. If you help me do that, it would be great. Well, let's just get serious, Johnny. Seriously, I want to be serious because the things that you talk about are really, really, really important and different than anyone I see online. And you make things seem really easy. And is starting a business on Amazon and trading equities, is it really that simple? Because you sure make it out to be that way.
Trading is, starting a business is not. But what I found is a lot of people have actually. So when I originally started YouTube, I owned businesses, everything from day spas to you name it. I was a little hustler since day one, selling mistletoe during Christmas. I was probably 8. And selling even candy. And it was funny because Ninja called me. He's like, dude, I just love that story, how you sold candy in the classroom. And you knew you'd get fired if you did it, but you wanted to teach the kids, how to make money and that they should sell candy and blah, 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 blah. But I've always, it's just innate in me to do business and make money. So traditionally, I came onto YouTube. Hey guys, I'm selling on Amazon. This is how I do it. My high school kids were making $10,000 a month. One of my kids went off, started Movement watches. I think he sold for $300 million, but it was the same. It's the same kind of, his name's Jake Casson, but it's like, have this made in China, sell for $100. He didn't have any money, he crowdfunded it. So everyone has excuses. But now what I found is rather than selling like stuff online is trading is actually so much easier if you know what you're doing. And if you have the right indicators, it's just people will wake up, they'll make $500 and they'll move on. And I never thought I was like, never be a day trader. That sounds horrible. But so many people are like, you know what? I get up, I make $500 or I make $1,000 and then I take on the day. It's just crazy how like that has become. And I've always looked at day traders as like, you give a day trader $1 million and I mean, they'll lose it. But what's the joke? You give them $2 million. How does a day trader make $1 million? You give them $2 million. Yeah. So that's I never have thought of it that way. But selling things on Amazon, starting business is difficult. Everyone can do it. Everyone should have a side hustle. You have a side hustle. You probably have 10 of them. And people are like, well, what do I do? I don't care. Go wash windows. Well, that's too hard. Okay, go. I mean, there's just so many things I find every day that people are doing. And then you hire someone to do it. Ta-da. But then people are like, but I don't want to give up the reins after you start a business. You know this. You're like, but I don't, I want to keep this culture. Well, you can't expand. So that's just the way it is. So yeah, then with trading is, for me, if you just understand some key principles, it's easy. I mean, you could take the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 and I could go into the chart and probably I'm thinking within 2 minutes, you can go, okay, yep, that's where you get in. Okay, that's where you get out. But no one understands, we're so confused in the macro world of like the Fed's tightening or we're going into a recession or earnings or this and that. And so people get scared and time in the market never works, but getting in and getting out does. So if we have time, I could just show you like a quick trade and you can go, that makes sense.
Because I'm going to ask you about that, but you kind of derailed me for a moment. I mean, why the hell would you get fired when what you were teaching these kids was so impactful, was so amazing and such a godsend, man, to teach kids real life stuff? Because, I have a 17-year-old daughter right now and they don't teach your shit. And watching what happened with your kids, how they actually learned how to do something and be incredibly successful, teaching them real world. How did that happen? How did they not come crawling back to you and say, Johnny, come back, please. We're really sorry. We've made a mistake.
All right. Well, so California, politics, the system, it's just, they're just all robots in a system and it's like you can't do that. It's kind of like when I worked law enforcement, which I couldn't do that anymore because you have someone like Gavin Newsom, he creates a law. So because he creates a law, now I have to follow that. And it's like, no, I have to write you a ticket. I got to arrest you because it's the law. So people get really confused. Same thing with like when COVID came down, everyone's like, ooh, this is the law. We have to do it because these are the rules. And people don't like breaking rules. They want to be rule followers. And so in school, when this was before first day that I saw a fidget spinner, a kid was spinning, and I'm like, ding, ding, ding. We're going to make a whole lot of money on this. And I go, what is this? He goes, who is here? Kitty. Thank you. Thank you, Kitty. All right. She is a great assistant. This protein shake from my dad bought. Okay, so what I did was I saw the fidget spinner and I'm like, where'd you get it? I got it online. How much? $30. Okay. Because I've been selling on Amazon. So I ordered a pallet. I don't know how many. I mean, it was a lot. And so I gave it to the kids at cost. And so they I don't know, let's say $2. And then they were selling it for 20. So I'm like, but you're going to pay me for the cost of this damn fidget spinner. And so everyone was selling fidget spinners, making lots of money, and selling candy and making lots of money. And I got pulled into the principal's office, and they said, that's you're out. But they'll give me, they'll write me up, and that's a warning or whatever it was called. You get so many, it's like YouTube, you get so many strikes. They're like, oh, you can't talk about the vid. That's illegal. You're not a doctor that's owned by the pharmaceutical companies. So yeah, that almost got me fired. I mean, it was just constantly teaching kids like, sell candy. You can't do that because at school they sell candy, and you can't, like, it's the mafia, basically. They own it. You're cutting into their revenue. So they'll suspend you and they'll send you to another school where I'm like, sell candy there. I mean, these kids were making $100 and something bucks a day selling candy, and then getting on the boat. I live on the lake. So it's like getting on the boat, getting on the bus, selling candy, and then selling on Amazon. They were making 10 grand a month. And the parents just couldn't believe it. They're like, this is illegal. There's something wrong. And the kids are just trying. They had nicer cars than their parents. They made more money than their parents. And then it was just at one point, I just said, it was during the vid. I just couldn't take it anymore. And in California, I mean, when a kid asks you to go to the bathroom, because you were talking about going to the bathroom, I mean, it was like, you have boys going into girls, girls going into boys. If someone asked you, hey, Mr. Bravo, where's the bathroom? And these are honest to God, true things that happened daily. And I'm like, you go down there, you make a left, and then it's straight. And they're like, oh, that's offensive. I'm like, what's offensive? And well, you said straight. You should never go straight. That's inappropriate. That's wrong. You should never tell me to go straight. I'm like, what? Go forward? I'm just lost. But it's things like that where when you first hear it, you're like, what the hell? There's dudes going to girls' bathrooms and they're peeing on the floor, and because they recognize themselves as chickens or whatever. But that's like legit. I was there. I witnessed it. Or kids like falling on the ground and going into convulsions because of that drug that's laced with whatever. They're hitting their vape. All the kids, oh my gosh, the vapes and the drugs. It was gnarly. Sorry. I was chasing squirrels all over the place. My apologies.
No, dude, I mean, that's what I love about you. And that's what I want people to know. haven't seen you. You're the most entertaining, logical person I've ever watched, ever. And I watch a ton of shit. And I study a lot. And so many of the things that I talk about, I see you talking about. You talk about Governor Newsom, arbitrarily writing laws like it's illegal to ask someone in the state of California for identification to vote. I mean, how dare anyone ask someone so anti-American, to actually think that you could ask someone for, an identification when they go to vote, things like that. Of course, when I talk about it, it is nowhere near as impactful as where you do. Someone once said to me, people don't remember facts and figures, they remember stories, and you are one hell of a storyteller in everything you do. I want people to really understand that I admire you, and I think people need to watch you because not only are you incredibly talented with your technical analysis, which is micro in a respect, but you see the world through a macro lens. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. You see it in everything, in a bigger picture that I think needs to be discussed. And sometimes humor is the best way to do it. And you are very, very good at that. And so, when you talk about, and I watch your shows religiously, as I mentioned, and you have a couple of things that make me incredibly intrigued. And I think to myself, well, shit, if it's this easy, why do I even need to buy the course? Although I'm going to buy I should actually admit that my father bought your course for $1,000, and I don't think he's ever opened it. And I said, can I have it, Dad? He said, I got to find it. He bought it way back when, because we've been watching it for such a long time, 5 years ago. But I've watched you nonstop, and the only reason I haven't bought it is because I, like you, and I can only imagine how much you work because you're on every single day. I do 5 or 6 podcasts a day, and I run a company that has me busy, 18 hours a day. And I just wonder, because it looks as though it's so easy, but it looks as though you have to pay attention to it on a continual basis. And maybe you can address that. But the 2 questions that I really have, how'd you come up with this Bravo 9? Because it looks like magic, and everything is in relation to the 200-day moving average. And I don't want to oversimplify it. Maybe you can show us here something, because when you watch you go through these things, you're like, here it is, Bravo 9, bang, sell. Here's Bravo 9, buy, bang. Oh, it touched the 200-day, sell. Didn't go through the 200-day. It's just, you make it look so amazingly easy. But how much effort does a guy like me doesn't even have time to give his kids a kiss goodnight? How much time do you need to put in to these trades? Or do you get like ding, 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 you got to do some reminder from your software?
No, that's why I have watch lists, like what I'm trading. So I would say you open that up. What am I trading? 5-10 minutes. And then maybe the next morning you're closing and opening some positions. That's it. It's not rocket science. So, and I said I could take you through a trade.
Love to see it.
All right, let's do S&P 500. See on Super. Now I'm going to do the daily, because that's something that everyone can, it doesn't require so much.
I'm going to put a link to your courses down below later on, because, I think I'm going to buy it myself this afternoon too, and stop waiting for my dad to find it.
I say I'm too cheap. I would wait till I find Dad's. When it goes perp now, okay, now to answer the question, I fell backwards into luck. I don't know. I've used so many different indicators, and I weed them out constantly, and then I'm just stuck with what I have. So as you can see, I did not know I was going to trade this. I don't know anything. When it goes purple, and these are also older indicators that have been deleted, that don't exist anymore, but I've always used. And then I work with Chart Prime, all their development team. And so a lot goes into this, but when it goes purple, it's like a rubber band over here on the far left. That when that plus comes up, that means it hit 9, and it's stretching like a rubber band. Now you could short it on the way down, which I don't like to do unless I'm trading options, but that's for I'm just going to try to keep it simple. You wait till it pulls back, and then so like here it comes down and it bounces off the reactor, and there is one good full can. Like over here, it's too wonky. This was a sweet beat down. This is a candle. For those of you that don't know, this is where all the price action happens, is within there. Okay, S&P 500, SPX, not so much tradable. Yes, it's tradable, but I don't want to get into it. SPY, if you guys want to trade it, that would be right down here. Anyways, the blue, when it goes purple, this is like a rubber band being pulled. These indicators, I have development teams. I spend a lot of money on developing these, and then I fine tune it to exactly what works to make it pathetically simple. This little plus that you see right there, that's when the 9 count finishes the 9. When it goes purple, that means it's extended. Get ready for a beatdown. You can short it if you want. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're trading options because we're above the 200. We're also above this green thing right here. This is a reactor. It always bounces off the reactor, which it did. You would put in a buy at 5,343 or 500 and whatever on the SPY. So this is a full candle close above the Bravo 9. Again, I just got lucky. I found most things I'm like, wow, this always works. And then I back tested. I'm like, oh my gosh, the success rate. And then when you combined everything, it's just mind blowing. Like this reactor here was luck. That we created it, and every different time frame we change it on, it works, and it's like the greatest thing ever. Right now, it's following the 200, but if I change the time to like a 4-hour, it's totally different, and it works amazing. Some people trade on the 5-minute, whatever. All right, so you put in a buy right here, 1 candle close, you ride it all the way up until you get 1 full candle close below the Bravo 9, which would be basically there. But right here, it's purple, so you're kind of getting out. You're taking profit. That's it. You're done. So it's as easy. I think for me, it's easy. This is where, you get a nice sweet beat down, whatever, 5, 10%, 6%. In a bull market, your pullbacks are only like 2 or 3%. So it comes up here, you take profit. You make what was on this trade to purple. Yep, 5%. Boom. If you're trading options and you take out a contract, you might be up 70%. So I take my $100 and I turn it into $170. Then I take my $170 little by little, right?
Yes.
You just keep compounding it. What if it's bad? It compounds. If it's good, it compounds. If you don't know how you're trading, you're going to compound and you're going to lose all your money. If you go to Vegas, little by little, it's 48% to 50, whatever. It's not in your favor. They will take all of your money over the long period. If you know how to trade this, boom, 5% or 60%. You get another beat down. Boom, 1 candle close. You ride it till it turns purple. You take profit. This is my 9. You get another beat down. This isn't not as much of a beatdown as I would like because it's but we're in this bull market and this is all the pullback you're getting. It's like 2%. It's like, well, I guess what was from wick to wick. Yeah, it's 1.59. Boom, 1 candle close. These are on the line. You don't close. Now we have a 7. We have a 7 on SPX or SPY. It's going to go to 8. It's going to go to 9. And then we're going to have a pullback. What is today? Thursday. So probably Monday, we'll probably have a pullback. And then that'll be a chance for you to enter back in.
Well, I'll tell you, it always bums me out. You'll be like, I'm going to get the hate mail, but all you gold bugs, and it's going to go down. It's going to go down. And it always does. It always does. Which, it's amazing the accuracy. Now, I if I'm not mistaken, you also teach a bear market course, correct?
I do. But here, now let's do under 1 minute of because you have a lot of gold people on this channel.
No, gold people want to see it, definitely, as long as it's positive. Otherwise,
so no, it's okay. It's okay on this one. So we have purple goes off. My whale, these are rarities. Pulls back, swing up, boom, take profit, 9, swing down. You're in this is a rising wedge. This is actually bearish. And on my channel, I said, if you break below this yellow line, all hell's going to break loose. Well, it's just going to drop down to here to the reactor and it's going to bounce and you're going to swing trade it. But I said, what's going to happen if you get above this yellow line? This was in September, August. I'm like, your price target is going to be right up here, which ding, ding, ding. You can take profit now. You just...
Is it still bearish if it breaks that trend line?
No, it's actually mega bullish.
Wonderful.
So you break a bearish pattern up, it's going to rip your face off. So I measure this from here to here, like that. And I pull it up here and I say, if you break it, we're going right up here, which is exactly the price target. But 7, 8, 9 purple. Come on, take profit. Get ready for a beatdown. It gets a beatdown. One candle close above the Bravo 9. We keep writing it.
I hope people see what I mean. I mean, it's almost spooky. It's like magic. How it is. It's almost prophetic in its accuracy. And I don't say that, to kiss your ass here on the podcast. I say it because I've watched it a lot, and I watch it in amazement, and have been paralyzed by my own stupidity to not do it myself because I think I'm too busy. But you've now convinced me. And when you talk about we're in a bull market, a lot of people are waiting, especially those that, watch the YouTube channels that I do, and they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Is this type of swing trading not as valid in a bear market? Is that why you teach a bear market course, or are there just different things to think about in a bear market course?
It's the same thing, opposite. So that you go under the 200-day moving average, and you're going to have violent swings down with pumps up. It's just opposite. But people need to go through that to go, oh, okay, I get it. Also, what people, the gold markets. Where is my gold? Where is my gold and silver and platinum? All the shiny, cool, shiny stuff. See, guys. I like gold. I have lots of. I'm pretty sure I have more gold and silver than 99.9. I'm not bragging. I like the stuff. I mean, when you have the Fed, and I have to be careful when I say this, where money comes from, and you have debts, which it's a machine, it always has to keep going. It makes real stuff really neat to have. So I did dump 75% of my silver bags back, and I'm waiting for an all-time high. And yes, I will have to. I'm a trader. I buy low, I sell high, I wait for pullbacks. And then I buy stuff.
That's one of the questions I was going to ask you, and I'll just ask it now. Since you focus on short-term trading, and it's really quite crazy how simple you make it look, and how lucrative you make it look. What do you do with all the profits? Now, you mentioned you reinvest, but where do you put money away for your family? Are you holding Bitcoin that you don't trade? Are you holding gold that you don't trade? Or is everything a trade and nothing is a hold in your mind?
Okay, so that was a lot of questions. So yes, I do have accounts that I just leave, whatever. It's just the tax implications. It's like mainly SPY, S&P 500. So that's been going on for 30 years. How old are we now? So that, yes, I do hold Bitcoin. But I do trade it. Which sounds counterintuitive, but I just do. I have wallets, and it's like, it is what it is. I'll see you later. And I don't sweat it. Bitcoin and gold and silver are assets that I just don't like. I don't like trading that. I like trading paper markets. It's just something in my soul to sell. I'm okay just talk, even if everything, it's weird. I don't know. It's just, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying.
No, I get it. I just, it's just, I'm always the kind of guy that thinks about my goal as something I hope I never need to use. And if I do, I'm glad I have it. If not, I give it to my kids.
Yeah.
But you make a very intriguing point. Why let it sit there when you can compound it? And I respect that. And I'm going to let
little.
Yeah, little by little, brother, and I will learn it. 2 more questions for you, out of respect for your time. My daughter's 17 years old, and she wants to go to college, of course, to the #1 party school in America. Do I spend $300,000 to send her to school, or do I, to get an education in partying? Or would it just be better to have her start a business right out of high school and start to learn real world experience? In other words, coming from your perspective as a teacher, someone who gets the macro, gets the world, is school right now, and I know you got to be careful how you say this, but is school kind of a lost cause right now?
Well, I don't have to be careful. I'm on your show. You're the one who gets strikes, not me. I like going on people's show where I'm like, Oh, so you want to know the truth, which I can't share on my show. Okay, again, another loaded, complicated question. I have 6 daughters. Ages 21 to 31. And they all knew I would pay for 0 of their college. They all had to start businesses, had to hustle, had to make I was a horrible parent. People were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you make your kids. I'm like, I'm not doing it. Is it my degree? It's not my degree. And what school was she looking at? Arizona? Because I don't know what the greatest party school is right now. Which one?
There's Arizona, there's ASU, there's Madison, all of them, and all of them, and Tulane, all of these crazy party schools.
So no, and it's so funny because us as parents, we lead by example, and we're like, don't do that, and you got to be home by this time. But then we're like, yeah, go off to college, never see you again, and enjoy your life and party every day. It's like where there's no, there's none of us. And also the kids that do, kids that even go to church with parents after they go to college, like none of them are going to church anymore. So I'm not a proponent of college. I've never been maybe probably 2008 changed my mind. And then I just saw the dynamics of everything changing and who's going to be successful, who's going to be rich, and how to make your digits, explode. And it's not going to college and getting a degree and working for someone. That's low middle class. But you're like, whoa, what about a doctor? Okay, so you're $300,000 in debt and you're working for big pharma and you're working 90 hours a week. How's that feeling for you? Yeah, not so good. So I'm just not, I'm not a college. I'm almost finished the doctorate. I'd be Dr. Bravo. I taught university, high school, everything. But it's for employees. It's great if you want to be an employee. If you have a brain where you're like, I'm really kind of dumb. I just want to clock in and I just want to clock out. My brain just doesn't go past that. It's for you. Other than that, there needs to be an entrepreneur. You have to have the soul for it, the hustle, the drive. And I don't know if you can get that from outside. It comes from internally. I don't have to work every day of my life. I don't know, since probably 2019, I've been doing a video a day on YouTube and I've never missed because I enjoy it. And when it also comes to money, it's also, money is a moving, once you have 10 million in your account, then you're happy and everything's fine. That is untrue. The goalposts always move. So there isn't an amount of money. Some people are like, once I make $1 million or what, it doesn't matter. It always moves. Enjoy what you're doing. I love doing this. I love people. I like helping people. It's fun. I have the drive now coming back full circle. None of my girls went to school actually one of them got a degree. But she quasi works for me and she does her own, she actually is more popular on the TikTok and the CNBC. She gets called on CNBC. She was in the movie with Dogecoin Millionaire, where I was begging her. I'm like, please tell him, which I met him quite a few times since. Great guy. Same thing, Andre, all the finance YouTubers. I'm like, please click the sell button. I see it right there. It says 5 million, click sell. Otherwise, you're not going to be a millionaire. You're going to be a thousandaire. Okay, so to summarize, I do not like college. I do not like college professors. I really didn't get along with very many high school teachers. It's a mindset. I don't like it. And there.
That's the reason we would have all been really fortunate to have you as our teacher. And I echo your sentiment. My son graduated from the Ross School of Business, where he got a job right out of college in Manhattan, earning $78,000 a year for Price Waterhouse. And if I hadn't helped subsidize him, he would have starved to death. He worked there for 2 years, was miserably unhappy, got his CPA, now works for me, and has more entrepreneurial spirit than he ever had before, and will tell you he's never been happier. I think that's amazing advice. I hope my wife listens to this. I have a feeling that I'll have a conversation in store for me about it, but I would much rather my daughter not go to college and start her career and become an entrepreneur. I agree. You're a smart man, brother. And there are very few people that I've ever watched or encountered that have the charisma and the intelligence and the ability to convey completely difficult subjects the way you can. Last question, I'll let you go. In looking at your YouTube channel, I started this a few months ago. We're up to 26,000, and I'm psyched at how fast we're growing. And I look at your channel, and you've almost had 100 million views. And does that ever blow you away? And if so, regardless, in my mind, you've already left a legacy because there's no one like you. But in your mind, what does that legacy look like that you hope to leave, at least in terms of the information you're so gleefully passing on to people?
I cannot even believe you're saying, like, I've never even looked.
100 million, man. You're at 991 or 2 million views you've had.
Never, I don't know.
99, what was it? 99 million views, something like that.
I don't know. And then I can't believe it. Every day it's like, I can't believe it. So yeah, to answer your question, I didn't know that. And even my brain can't comprehend it. When I even think, like, what is, let's say my average view of a video is like 60,000. And then I'm watching like the Super Bowl or these Coliseums, and they're like, yeah, there's like 30,000 people in there. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm just, clowning around with a Logicam right here. So no, I'm humbled. I didn't know. I don't know. I do it because I love it. And yeah, I don't know.
There's nobody like Johnny Bravo, everyone. I hope everyone will sign up. I will put a link to your website. I will put a link to your courses. I hope to meet you sometime in person and share a beer with you and the Ninja. And because, like I said, you're my go-to and have been for a very long time. I have no problem in telling the world that. And next time we chat, I'm going to tell you all about the successes I've had learning the Bravo 9 count and trading, becoming a swing trader just like you. And but sincere appreciation for coming on the show. And I hope you and your family and everyone else out there stays well, and look forward to picking up where we left off again real soon.
All right. Thank you so much. It was a blessing.
Thank you.
Little by Little with Andy Schechtman.